Hello everybody, welcome back to episode 2 of Dogcast. Just want to say a lot of thank you for your shares and likes and comments last week. I know Donald was feeling loved. When people come on and open up and share a bit of the personal life, it's nice to get a bit of feedback back from him, and hopefully we'll give you an insight into his life and a bit more about Dono. This week, fortunate to have my mate Ash Handley. He's got a decent lockdown trim, obviously. We're still in lockdown now, so he's gone for the old skinhead. I'm growing my beard and my hair, so we're not looking our best, are we, pal?
No, I've got my slippers on as well, just kicking back in my old kit. I've got all my Leeds gear on because I don't wear all else, no point. I'm just going straight home, so yeah, ready to go.
That is it, mate. It's tough times, isn't it? But we're pretty fortunate to be in around the boys. Obviously, we had a tough day's training today, but we had half an hour around each other, though. We had a good laugh, and it lifts our spirits, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's class, mate. We had that time off, 10 days off. It were awful, wasn't it? Yeah. Just sat at home twiddling my thumbs, sick at sight of Harriet and dogs. Yeah. Wanted to get back in, so it's good, yeah. Like you say, we're fortunate to get back in and do what we want to do, and we're just lucky to be able to carry on as doing his jobs, aren't we? Yeah,
hopefully not much longer before we get back to some normality. Let's get straight in there. Start pretty early on in your career. Obviously, coming through at a big club, I felt similar things at Warrington. Obviously, fighting for titles and playing in finals, it's difficult to get your chance. Obviously, you coming through at Leeds Rhinos was pretty similar to that. And how do you want to elaborate on how difficult that was for you? Obviously, everyone's seeing you now at the top of the try scorers list, but it wasn't always that plain sailing, was it?
Nah, definitely not. Mad really, because I played my first game in 2014 against London. And we were battering him at like 40 odd 8 points or something. And then he brought all young lads on. I was playing anyway a full game, but brought all young lads on and they just started scoring. But I don't think that was the only game that they'd won all year against us. And then after that game, Mac was just like, he's shit. Get him running tomorrow. Yeah. So there were 5 or 6 of those young lads running on pitch, and it was awful. And that was his first taste. You know, he had these standards, and obviously he didn't feel like we were meeting them. So, we didn't really get another shot that year. And then 2015 rolled around, and couple of lads were out drinking and got in a bit of mess, and I were there, so I got drawn in with that. So we ended up painting with groundsman for a week. We got thrown out at first team changing rooms. One like training team, there were like 6 of us. Got thrown out of there, so we weren't really playing. So I thought, that's it for me. I'm done here.
Back up grass.
Obviously back then as well, I was just like, wow, that is actually it for me. Like I played one game, went awful. Yeah. And now this has happened, and I just thought, nah.
I think that shows, doesn't it? And that's what we've got to create getting a bit older, is you've got to have that bit of adversity as a youngster, and like you say, you've got to realise how lucky you are to be in the situation. If you get everything gifted to you, then you need to get some sort of adversity to realise how lucky you are, and just realise it can get taken away at any point.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's mad. Like, you just, when you back then, I was just thinking, that gutted. I was just like, there's no way I'm getting a shot here. And then, like I said, you just got to get a bit of luck as well. Like Tommy, I think he got his first like real bad shoulder injury back then. And Mac pulled me and he was like, listen, I know you've not been trained. This was like the week after you come back. So 1 week I was with groundsman, grafting 9 to 5. The next week I was playing my next game since that awful game. And we played Wigan, and I went all right, and we won that game. And then I ended up playing that full year really. And then obviously the end of that 2015 year were treble winning side. Yeah,
I'll let you into a bit of a secret here with mine and Ash's relationship. When I first came to Warrington, when I first came from Warrington, one of the comments I made, because me and Ash were real close, we got on like a house on fire, and I said, I can't believe it, mate, like, realised since playing with you, class, but I used to think he was worst winger in I think I remember saying to someone that Ash Handley's worst winger in Super League, and I don't think I could have been any more wrong. He's been in top 2 player of the years last 2 years at Boats, and he's been up there for top try scorer. But let's touch on that, and how much as confidence do you think played a part in? Because obviously, like you said, Matt was pretty ruthless with how he ran things, and he was successful in how he did that. But how difficult was that with the confidence to then pull through, especially when you might make a few mistakes being young, especially being a winger under the high ball?
Yeah, that was my big thing. Like when I first came through it, I was struggling a bit off the field with, like whilst I was playing, and you don't realise, but whilst I was playing, one of my best pals fell ill. Well, he'd been ill a few times with cancer, and he got it when we were about 16, so he beat it, and then we were all obviously really happy and buzzing, and then he got it again. I think he went through another stage of chemo, and then that year of 2015 he ended up getting it again. So it was just mad. Like he just said that this is it, I'm not going through that shit again. He was just like, chemo, I'm not doing it again. I'll just go as long as I can. So a big shock to everyone, and everyone were obviously gutted, and you know he ended up dying whilst I was playing. So it's like two ends of the spectrum. Like I was high and enjoying my playing career. This like first it's sort of kicking off, but my private life, one of my best mates in school, in life, you know, has just died. So it was difficult to get over, and I was probably, without knowing it, I was thinking about that a lot more than I thought I was. And then, you know, you're not really thinking about playing, you're just going week by week trying to get through it. And like you say, like stuff like under the eyeball, I won't carry in like I do now or anything, and it knocks your confidence. You think you're not good enough to do it, and obviously, you know, Max, it's like when Mac were here, he just wanted performances, and he wanted someone who can perform, and you know, he stuck by me that year. I don't think he had much choice because Tommy were injured and I was probably the only one there, but you know, as soon as Tommy were back, that were it, I were out. I didn't get a look in.
So when you speak about that, and obviously it's difficult enough dealing with everything at that age. Obviously you're going into a new environment, playing in front of so many people, the pressure that you've got to deal with, wanting to impress, as well as the highs and wanting to enjoy it. So all them emotions, and then you've got to deal with that. What you're saying. How long do you think it took you to probably get past that? And would you say that I know for a fact now that you use it in your spirit, the spirit stuff that we do, you use this story, and that's your reason why. How much was that? Did you flip it on its head and use that as your motivation to get through the confident issues, and probably how much has that helped you turn into the player that you are now?
Loads, really. I think like Mac has helped me in a weird way. He's sort of, after that year, and then it went on to 2016, and Tommy were having a difficult patch himself, and I actually went to Mac and said, listen, you know, I've been in and out of the team in 2016, and said, you know, am I going to get a shot here? And he was like, no matter how bad Tommy plays, you are not going to get it here. So I was like, right, that's good then.
So, imagine you sat there.
My head had fallen off. I thought, right, this is back to then, you know, like, well, that's it for me then.
But to put that in context, really, is Matt was pretty intimidating, and that was just the way he was as a person. But you knew that anyway, so you anticipated that. So the balls for you to go in and say, like, listen, I think I need a shot here. That's big enough.
Because as well, I was playing at Fev.
Yeah.
And I know it's a bit a step down, but you know, I was playing well. Yeah. Like consistently playing well, and I thought, come on, give it a go here. Yeah.
And that's not an arrogant thing to do. That is wanted.
Yeah.
That drive and that enthusiasm to play is wanted. Yeah. You want that. So he's probably sat there thinking, fair play to him, he's come and had a crack here, but then how difficult is it to then sit and you think, not even a conversation, just blowing your legs off.
I was just like, this guy is a mad guy, but that just made me think, I'm going to prove him wrong here.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought,
that's probably what I wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. That's what he's all about. Yeah. And I just thought, I'll prove him wrong. So I just thought, I'll just get my head right. I'll start training as hard as I can. But like you say, you know, it's not as easy. Me and you have been around for a while, but it's probably only been the last 3 or 4 years that we've, you know, had a shot. So 2017, I were in and out still again. Yeah. But then 2018, I think he actually started building a bit of trust with me, and then, you know, believing in me. But like you say about stuff spurring me on, it's just little things that happen that make me think, I'm going to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
He can't tell me what I can do, I'll show him what I can do, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'd said that, and it's interesting because that's the first time I've heard that, where you said that you went into Mac, and that takes some doing that to go into a coach's office and back yourself and say, I want a crack here. And that runs alongside with one of my questions that I was going to ask. How difficult is it? So you're running low on confidence, and you've obviously got leadership qualities there and then by having enough belief in yourself and knowing I want to go and put it on his toes and say I want to be playing. And you wanted to speak about you're a massive part of our leadership group now. Obviously you're in our spirit group that oversee everything and a bit of a in between Rich and the boys really. So you're a massive part of that now, and I think it's a lot easier because of the way you're playing. But how difficult was it way back then to do things like you said, go up and have a voice when you're not backing it up with performances? It's difficult, isn't it, to try and get the balance right?
Yeah, especially when you don't have the opportunity to show someone what you can do because you're not getting selected. Like you say, it's hard, and I think biggest thing for me is earning the respect how you play. It's not about what you say in a room, or everyone can say what they're going to do, but are they actually going to go do it? And I think the only way I've come out of my shell a bit more and I speak up more now is because I've shown people what I can do on the field. And I will, if I say something, I feel like I will back it up, and I'll do that with my actions rather than my words. Yeah,
certainly. And what I want to touch on is just give people a bit of an insight of your role as a winger, because rightly so, you sit at top at try scoring charts in a team that finished 5th really, which says it all. So you're sitting at the top, so what people think is try scorer, he scores all these tries, but I can guarantee you get some wingers who score a shed load of tries. I think back to Cass when Cass were flying with Gaelic teams at 17. You could have put anyone on that wing and they'd score 20 tries that year. So I want you to give an insight, because we all see it and we all play with you and we understand what you do off the ball. So just give everyone an insight, and probably so they can see when they see you play next year, realise why you get so many plaudits, not just for the try scoring but what your role includes really.
Yeah, my games, I'm not really bothered about my tries. It's more, I always look at my meters after a game. I want to get 200 plus every game. I want to be the highest on the carries, highest on the meters. And then they asked me in my speech of when I got second player of the year or whatever, and they were like, what's your favourite try, and I was like, it's the one where someone like chips it over, Harry gets it, and I finish it off. But
I seen that weekend, was it against UKR?
It might have been something like that. And I'm not even, I shouldn't be there really, and I'm just thinking, I'll just keep pushing about, and then sometimes it comes off, and like you always say to me that Joe Monaghan were one of the best at it, wasn't it? And just pop up red ball at that time. I just like to be around it, and because sometimes I feel like I can stand on wing and not really be involved that much, so I like to stay in and around and sort of be like a second fullback sometimes and just sniff about in middle, and if all pops up on there.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that we do these podcasts, because we do get so many of them generic questions. It's like, he scored a good try, and Ash Handley's a good player because he scored 20 tries. Well, no, you're not a good try. You've scored 20 tries, but what you do, you just start our sets off every game's on front foot, and then it's easier for us to then make ground up the field, taking them tough carries for us. And like you say, it's a team that you've got at the back with Wacker and Tom covering that ground, so we're catching kicks on the full. So it's all the unseen efforts that make you the player that you are, and why you get the plaudits you do, and that has probably pushed you on in such a short time to be in that England squad and in around that England squad. So let's talk about the PNG trip. How did that come about, and what's your role taking it all?
Kev rang me up and he said, do you fancy all-inclusive in PNG? All-inclusive holiday. Kev rang me up whilst I was away with Harriet, and he says, they need a winger to go over and play, so you can't, who's going to turn that down, you know what I mean? Obviously it would be a great opportunity for me to play for Great Britain, and that's obviously why you think you're going. And I don't know how much Wayne Bennett knew about it or what, but obviously I got there, we were in Brisbane for a couple of days and then training with the boys, and then Blackie, our old conditioner, texted me saying, what's going on, pal, are you not playing? And I was just sat in my room in the hotel, I was like, what are you on about? And then it came up on Twitter, the team, and obviously I wanted it. So, you just, obviously you're a bit like, what's going on? Not heard of, and I fancied. Wayne Bennett's a similar character to Mac. You know, he's quite an intimidating person. So he we had a meeting in PNG and he got the team up and he was like, Josh, thanks for coming, pal, but you're not playing. So there were Josh Jones were there, and I thought, why is he speaking? Why is he saying that about Josh Jones? And then everyone was like, oh, he's called Ash. So I'm like, wow, what is going on? What is going on? I float other side of the world, I'm getting ripped to death. Obviously, you feel like an idiot as well, because all them boys have been together for like, 3.5 weeks, and I've just come to just stand with them. Yeah. So I didn't really, just felt a bit like a div, really. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I knew a few of them, but
well, that's it.
Like everyone's already made a bond.
You don't feel bad unless you're going out there. Yeah. You do it for a reason to play. It's not a lad's holiday.
And like I say about earning people's respect, that's what I don't want me to do when I'm playing. Settle down. Yeah. So I went over to him, Wayne, and said, "What's going on here?" I said, "I wasn't even listening because you called me Josh and I didn't know you were on about me." Yeah. And he said, I wanted to go with Blake. I feel like he's trained well, and he went well last week. Yeah. So all right then. And some of the lads were saying he sometimes does that, like he calls people wrong name, like. And Zach, I'm pretty close with Zach, and Zach were like, "I hope you're all right," and then he like console him maybe. I won't, I were obviously gutted, and it was stupid, but it just, like you say, it just motivates me to go again. I'll prove him wrong. Prove him wrong, and I'll have a better year next year.
100%, mate. 100%, and that's the way to take it. Before we go to the next bit about rugby, you're a massive Aston Villa fan, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're not from... Where even is Aston Villa?
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
That.
I'm rubbish at geography. Birmingham. So you're not from Birmingham or anything, are you? So do you want to explain why you support? And it's not literally, but you are massive. Like you've got the towel in changing room. You've got the t-shirt.
I love that. My dad supports them. He's a weirdo. He said to me
the reason why you support them.
The reason why he supports them is because he must be the only person who's stuck to this, right? He said when he were at school, everyone took a team out of an hat and then supported them. And he said he still supports them to this day. They were obviously better back then. Yeah. But then he's obviously got me supporting them. So
it's flying up in Premier League.
They're doing alright now, Grealish, play.
The reason I asked that, it'll take us on to we obviously played at Wembley last year, and obviously it was tarnished with no fans, no family, and a lot of the special sides of that weekend got took away. But you had a decent message, didn't you? Who was your message off?
John McGinn, right player for Villa, Scottish lad. Meant to be a bit of a joker like you, actually.
Is he? Yeah, he's
meant to be the man, but
not short, is he?
Yeah.
That explains it all, mate. That explains it all, mate. Insecurities, mate. Insecurities make up with you, man.
But yeah, Phil sorted me actually. Phil behind the camera sorted me a nice message from John. I was buzzing with that. And yeah, got a message from him, and then we got the job done, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. I want to touch on that. And obviously, you're one of the few now that was probably around that golden generation and the success that they tasted, like say in 15. And obviously, it was difficult for everyone over the last couple of years. They all have their own reasons. Difficult for me. Came from Warrington. I was coming to a big club. I wanted to win trophies, and then probably underachieved if anything. And being one of them players that was coming in, I felt a bit of responsibility for that. I felt like obviously Rob moving on, Danny moving on. I felt like me and Richie had filled them spots, and it probably had something to do with it. There's a lot of other indicators. So everyone will have some sort of pressure that is left from that golden generation. How much do you feel of that, and how much of a relief was it to finally get that trophy on the back of the golden generation with a new squad and a young squad, and you playing a big part of it?
Yeah, obviously it was class. It was my first experience in a final, and we only just hung on. But I spoke to Kev after the game, and he said, back when they first won theirs, he said theirs were scrappy, and they didn't play the best. But once you get that first one, it's he said that theirs just like snowballed. So, we've got, like you say, we've got a young team, and if we can, build something good here and, get a bit more experience behind us, then who knows, we could be, the next golden generation. But I don't think, you mentioned them, I don't think that'll ever go away. Everyone's always going to, you don't realise, because you're in it, how much what they did. It's mental, isn't it? Like, they won that many titles back to back, and in that period, like, do you reckon another team was going to do that for so long? Do you know what I mean? It's mad, isn't it?
It is, and it certainly does weigh heavy on you at the club, which is so it should, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want to be at any other club. And on that, speaking about, it was a lot of our first experiences of winning something. So I think the feeling around the camp is, yes, there's a bit of relief and we've got to where we need to go. We've come away with a trophy. But knowing the character that you are and being a part of our leadership group, that we need to be careful that doesn't cover up that we're still a bit off, and that we've got a lot of improvements to make on back of last year. If anything, we didn't finish the year the way we wanted to. But where do you think we need to go for our next step, and what do you think is important for us as a group to make sure that we don't get carried away? We've got that relief, that one win, and realise that we've still got a lot of work to do.
It's just the little things, isn't it? Like you say, we sort of tailed off towards the back end because, you know, we were a long year, and, you know, I don't know how we all went into that game against Catalans, and, you know, maybe we were thinking, I don't know, we had a bit of disruption, didn't we, because Rich wasn't there. So it's hard to put a thing on it, innit? I don't know what we can do really other than just keep going at it. I mean, like I said before, we're a bit inexperienced, but, you know, if we can step up, especially like the young lads who are not so young anymore, like Nikolai and Cam and people like that. If everyone just keeps adding a bit more, and, you know, we train harder, we train harder than anyone else. We play as week by week, and then we just see where we are. Like,
one thing we've got is we spoke about, we want to be more ruthless than that, don't we?
Yeah,
we want to be
more ruthless,
and that's probably the side of it, is that wasn't enough last year.
Yeah,
we did well. We enjoyed it. It was great while it lasted, but this year's a new one, and we want to taste some more of that, don't we?
Yeah, definitely.
I want to touch on our mate Sutter. Obviously, I've got a great relationship with Ash since I first came. A great relationship with Sutty as well. We like a beer together. We've put Ash in a cab a few times because that's why he must train so hard and play so hard. Because when he goes on a bit for a beer, he ends up falling asleep, and we know how drunk it is by level of his head. His head just slowly
too heavy, isn't it?
Just keeps falling down, and right, it's time. Let's send him home. So, how much are you enjoying? Obviously, he had a difficult year with injuries and not sure where he wanted to be in his time. And I've been through something similar when I was at Warrington. It is difficult, but how good is it now to see him performing and nailing that centre spot inside of you, and how much you're enjoying it? Because obviously you're really close, you two best mates.
Yeah, it's class. You know, back then with everything, you know, he was injured and he wasn't really happy and stuff. You could tell. Like, I suppose you couldn't really tell at the time. You just thought, he's quiet. Sometimes he's quiet. So he was just like keeping himself to himself. But after a bit, I was like, well, you know, we'd go up to Sebby's when we were around the corner and just never ever come. And like, people would go and you'd be like, where's he's just gone out. Didn't think much of it, but he's just a different man now, and he's settled down, and he's always said that he don't want to be a utility player. He wants to settle down in a position, and if centre's going to be the position, he's class at centre, and he goes well every week, and, you know, we've created a strong relationship on that side. So, you know, he's training well, he's training hard, he's doing all extras that he probably wasn't doing before, and, you know, I think you can just tell he's a lot happier, and, you know, he's come out of his shell a little bit more.
And how good must it be for you guys? Because obviously you found it a bit later where Sutty smashed onto the scene, didn't he? He was playing. You've been best mates all the way through, and that must be difficult because we're all in this environment for a selfish reason, and we've got to bond that together and become a group and an environment, and that's what we do. But you'll have been around Sutty and seeing him smash it, and then it must have been difficult certain times thinking you want that. But how good is it now to see enjoying some good moments with each other instead of probably waiting for him to finish his rugby and then having a beer with him? Probably being asleep by the time he gets off the field.
You say that because when I actually sort of burst in 2018, it was left centre and he was the left centre, and we were sat together and I was like, I'm buzzing on playing, but it's a bit shit that your shirt, isn't it? Because he got injured at the time, so he was just like, but obviously don't worry about it, like he gets in anyway, doesn't he, like he did back then. But yeah, like you say, it's taken 7-8 years for us actually both to be in a starting shirt next to each other. It's mad, and it's class now. Yeah,
I think we've touched on everything there. So, like I say, I hope you've enjoyed it and seen a different side to Ash. Seen that he's not just a try scorer, there's a lot more to him, and his reasons why. Like I said last week, the feedback that we had was great. So thanks a lot, and everyone stay safe.